Welcome to Two Bottles Deep. We're a podcast where we venture into the world armed with humor, sarcasm, and a willingness to admit when we're wrong. Well, most of the time.
And our goal is to have open and honest conversations while we discuss topics that affect us as humans and as gay men.
And thank you so much for listening. And now it's time to get Two Bottles Deep.
Are we live?
Hello, Wes.
Hey, Phil.
How are you, babe?
I am great. You know, I walked up today. It's been a great weekend. I walk up today and I just love the lush greenery in front of your home. And I had our coffees in my hand and I just wanted to smell. I stopped and smelled the flowers out front. Those beautiful, they're rose, but there's some type of bush, but I stopped and smelled the flowers today.
Those are dead hydrangeas. Not a rose bush. There are no roses out front. Yeah, colorful. Not a rose.
Are they really dead?
Well, dying.
Yeah.
It's so hot.
So the bloom is gone.
The bloom is gone,
gorgeous.
baby.
It's a gorgeous gray.
Being
a colorblind gay male, it was pretty.
Well, how are you, babe?
I am good. We had a good celebration with a bunch of dear friends recently.
Oh, yeah. We just, Friday night was Jason and Greg's combination birthday party at the Golden Pony.
You've not had a birthday party until Philip Hedrick does the roast.
Oh, that was fun.
Y'all, I love Comedy Central roast. I love a roast. It's funny. It's great. People just banter. They know it's coming, but they still laugh. You did an exceptional job, Philip.
Thank you, babe.
Just what you leave a place at night and you're like, that was just a warm, friendly party with everybody. People met new people, but you still had your friend group there that was just so genuine to be around each other.
I initially made fun of them for doing a combo birthday party, but it works because you do get to mix friend groups. Yeah. And you don't have to be, neither of them wanted to be the center of attention the whole night. So you kind of share the center of attention, you meet new friends. So I thought it was a great idea.
It was great. And it worked for a lot of your jokes, actually.
Oh, it worked. It was really fun to do.
Great time.
I can, I had to clear it with them. I'm like, are you sure that you're okay that I go hard on, on your life and your body? And they were good with it. So I love them for that.
Your body and your looks.
Your looks.
But that's what a roast is. It's because you love those people.
Yes.
You're not going to roast someone you don't like.
Yeah.
Right? You love those people. And it was just Philip and I were talking earlier before we hit the old record button. And when you build a community, it makes life so much better. And we all have different communities, our family, our work communities, friends. We have different friend groups. Yep. Right. So there's a bunch of stuff going on. And no matter how hard the times get, you can be at home after a hard day's work and just remember moments like this, either from childhood or recent, and say, God, that was fun. God, there's good people in the world. And that's what I hope people take away.
And for me, it was the importance of like putting the effort into friendships. Like all these people that were in this room are on different levels with me. Right. Like I know some very little and some I know very well. All of them, I had to really work, go out, meet them out, spend time with them, ask questions. Like that's kind of support group I want around me. Is the people I enjoy roasting.
It takes a lot of time. And I meet people that are new to Nashville and they have to know that it takes a while to get connected. No matter where you move. I didn't meet all my really good friends here until I'd been here probably 2 years by the time, 2-3 years before I met you. And that's just that natural. Oh, I was at the right place at the right time with Jason and met you. And then that leads to Elena and all your family, your brothers. Yep. And it's just that natural, you have to put that effort in and go out. Cause I love staying at home. And it's like, once you go out, especially if they have a party, I'm there. Right. But it's like just making being intentional. Intent was when
people say I can't find friends or it's hard, it is hard because it takes work. You have to put work in. So anyway.
Well, you think back to like high school and college, you're forced to be in a room or in a dorm or in a house with all these people. You're forced to be there. Now you may have a roommate, you may be somewhere, but it's like you have to be intention right? Putting that out there, but it was so great.
It was a fun night.
It was a fun night.
Although
a
I
lot of
didn't get any of the
smiles.
chicken tenders. Did you?
Oh man,
I saw you
y'all
eat
go to
6.
whole. Well, they were so small. 7, by the way.
It's okay.
No, the Golden Pony.
I tell you, their chicken tenders, I will fight.
Phenomenal.
I will fight you for their chicken tenders.
I didn't even know it was a chicken tender. It was shaped weird. It was really good. And initially, me and Antoine were like, let's just split one, right? We're both on a diet and all that. We split one. I'm like, no, I'm having more.
Yeah,
like,
don't touch my chicken tender.
I told Sam Graham, owner of the Golden Pony in East Nashville, over off Douglas. Phenomenal job on the venue. Y'all have to go to a Golden Pony. He doesn't pay us. It's just like yet. He'll be invoiced actually after this, Sam. But really, genuinely, he's another great person I met through you. And it's just, he always has a smile on his face. When you say Sam Graham, people smile. And when you say Golden Pony, you smile. Great drinks, great mocktails, great cocktails, great food. All right, at this edition on Golden Pony Live, what are we talking about today, Phil? You're the next contestant in my ramble.
So we got a listener's email recently with a question that I think probably everybody has asked, in their life. So let me read the email first and we can kind of get into it. Dear Wes and Philip, love the podcast. Really makes me think. I feel like y'all have had much more life experience than me. Not calling you old. Well, that's what I heard. I've been with my boyfriend for 5 months. I have noticed some red flags that have popped up and don't know if I need to get out of this relationship. When we first started dating, I noticed that he wanted to spend all his time with me. I took it as a compliment at first, like I was so good that he couldn't imagine life without me. But now it's like we have to do everything together. He even goes with me to get gas. He only has one friend that he has talked about, which makes sense, I guess, since he's new in town. And also, he wants to be married, and I don't have a desire to do that right now. So, what do I do? Sincerely, Todd in Augusta, Georgia.
Oh, Todd. Ooh, the gas thing.
So
let's break
first of all,
this down.
Red flag. So red flags. Everybody knows what that is. Signs that the person probably can't have a healthy relationship without being emotionally dangerous. So red flags. Let's answer this particular question here. The first one that she mentioned, wanting to spend all your time with somebody. Is that a red flag to you?
Not in the beginning. That's the introductory period.
Yeah.
I think red flags can the old red flag.
Look at that red flag over there.
They can change over time. There is a delicate line that you take especially in the beginning, because if you're spending your whole time with each other, as I get seasoned in age, that before would not have been a red flag. Now it is a red flag to me. It's like, okay, let's take this slow, but it depends on where they are in their maybe relationship and also in their life.
I think I've exhibited that red flag. I think I move in the past. I have moved too quickly. And then that either sets you up for we always have to be together, which that's in my mind, that's not a good relationship. Or you become, like angry or, I don't know. It's going to breed resentment in the relationship. Because like, oh God, I can't do anything by myself. He always has to go. Like, you got to go get gas with me. No, baby, you're staying at home. Like I'm gonna run down here and get gas. I'm not going down to get gas and sleep with somebody. So I think the spending time, I think you're right. Like if initially it may be okay, but it's definitely something you want to watch.
You got to watch that. Yeah. Yeah. It is. Is there trust issues too? How long have you been together? Which she said, was it always a red flag, or is it going, because in the beginning you want to go to brunch, you want to go to the park, you want to go wherever you want to go. But then it kind of, you naturally evolve into, okay, this is our pace. This is, you have your friends, I have my friends. Yes, we want to commingle, but if we're having a guys' night out, you can come, but it's like, that's going to be
no, different. You're not coming.
Well,
that comes down to communication too. Like 4 weeks into a relationship, I'd be like, okay, look, we've been spending a lot of time together. I do not want this to continue throughout our relationship. I do need some time with friends and family, sometimes with you, sometimes alone. Are you okay with that? If they're not, that's a red flag. I'm out.
Mhm.
Um, so the other red flag that Todd mentioned was, they're at different points in their relationship. He's wanting to get married, and Todd does not want to be married. So, do you continue a relationship if the ultimate goal is different? If one person wants to get married and you don't, what would you do? If let's say you wanted to get married, and I'm like, nope, no marriage in our future.
Yeah, younger me would probably kind of stay there because I'm like,
Yeah.
especially if everything's going great, they love each other. If I love this person, I'd be like, okay, well, maybe his mind would change.
Hmm.
And a lot of our girlfriends are like that with kids. Oh, he doesn't want kids, but if we fall in love, he'll want kids. 8 years down the road, he still don't want kids. Now they have to start all over.
Yeah.
So as I season in life, I'm a lot quicker to make those decisions than I was in the past, because in the past I was just I guess starving for that attention and someone
Hmm.
liking me, especially when I first came out. I'm like, oh, it's fine if we don't get along in that aspect and this aspect and this and this. It's like, oh, it'll work itself out. I have the attention. But now I'd be like, okay, I can only imagine being a straight female being like, you have to talk about that on the first couple dates,
Yeah.
because you're not going to get in with someone 6 months down the road and they're like, well, I hate kids and you want a kid.
Right.
So in our world, if I wanted marriage and he didn't, it probably wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah. And my long term relationship, I was with somebody for 18 years. And at 1 year in, we had the discussion, and he was very adamant, absolutely did not want to get married. And I noticed that I changed my mind from wanting marriage to almost like, I want this relationship more than I want marriage. So I just said,
Mm.
okay. And then 15 years in, people are like, why aren't y'all married? And my answer was always to blame him. Well, he doesn't want to get married, versus saying, I chose not to because I didn't have the courage to say, to stand up to that
Yeah.
or to leave him. So I'm a much more mentally aware person now. And so for me, if somebody says, and I would love to get married, but if somebody said absolutely not, it would depend on how hot they are, really. No,
Backing up a little bit, during that time, did you conform to what he wanted? And you're like, I guess I don't need the paper. For those 18 years, did you still always want to be married?
yeah, but also, and I don't want it to. I'm not suggesting that he had any control over that. Like, I'm not saying he didn't want to get married and made me change my mind. He was just very honest with me. I don't want to get
Hmm.
married, and so I was desperate. I really was. I was desperate to be in what looked like a healthy relationship, and the ending of that is marriage in my mind. But I would just kind of override it with, no, 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 not now. We're happy.
Mm.
We're definitely a partnership.
I would never want to lose out on something great that, or if I was on a first couple of dates with someone, they're like, I have to be married in 2 years. That kind of scares me because I have that commitment issue. I'm like, oh, but I'm like, man, maybe if I would want to play it through.
Yeah,
And I think in the life we have to let our guards down a little bit and kind of play it through. But I'm like, I don't want to waste a bunch of time on someone
that's the thing.
if not,
And the other reason, like, I definitely want to get married is I want to register and get the gifts.
That's really what it's
Do you
about.
know how many
It's a
weddings that I
contract.
have been to in my life and brought? I'm just like, if I never get married, can I register for my 50th for my single
Oh my
wedding? Or
God, that's what I need to
like,
do.
how does that work?
You could have outfitted an entire home with the gifts you gave other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. Todd's been with his boyfriend 5 months. I think this is a natural progression point
Yeah.
of, okay, God, 5 months. If they've been, you know, whatever their situation is, if it's like very committed and they're like, all right, where's this going to go? 5 to 6 months, 7, 8 months is right where that time where
Hmm.
it's either make or break. It's like, oh, okay, our leases are up in 3 months. What are we going to do? It's those big decision
Hmm.
times. And my thought process, with my parents being married 40 something years and all that, I grew up with, this is forever,
Yeah.
perfection, forever. And it scares me too to even get into a relationship. So I'm like, well, it could end, but this has got to be forever. This has got to be forever. And just to kind of take that down and just kind of talk through it. And guess what? I've had relationships who were they were all amazing guys, all lasted right around a year. And I wouldn't take any of that back. but I was a little scared of the whole time. What if this didn't work? What if this didn't work?
Yes.
Rather than just enjoying those moments. And I've seen people get divorced and stay friends. Like, you know what? We had 15 great years together, and
Yes.
now we get season 2 of life, and there was
Yes.
season 3, whatever divorce they're on. And I'm like, I want to live like that. I want to live like
It's
that. So
it's it's probably a few months ago in therapy. My therapist made a comment about that he said, and this is paraphrasing, you when you start any relationship, Philip, you're always preparing for it to end to protect yourself. So it's like you can never give 100% in the relationship because the assumption is it's not going to last forever. So you live like it's not going to last forever.
mhm.
So that's one thing I have to work on. But what red flags have you experienced? Like, and not all of them, but like, is there one in particular that you can remember in a relationship where you were like, whoa?
From their standpoint,
Well, from
it's
like
like they're
something that you experienced that they did to you or that they did in the relationship. Like, oh, that's a red flag.
blaming others, blaming exes, and talking about exes. It was
Hmm.
all let's call it deflection,
Okay.
because
And he
that
would,
encompasses a lot. It would I think it's natural at some point to maybe say what happened in previous relationships.
sure.
I'm a fixer, so I want to help someone. So if you come to me, I'm like, I'm going to go above and beyond to show you that I would never do that for you. So I don't mind if not on the first 3 dates. I could care less who you dated. But at some point, you want to know the past. And it's naturally going to come up because that's communication, it's life. But it kept going
And going.
and going. And it was, I mean, 6 months in, 7, and that's a point too. I thought it would leave, kind of like this marriage thing. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let
Mhm.
it go. And it never went. So deflection, because then like, well, you have to look internally. We all did something in relationships we're not proud of. That may have ended it, or something that you have guilt or shame over, and that's fine to talk through it and then move TF on.
Mhm.
He never moved on.
I'd say for me, one that pops up is the inability to like take responsibility for anything. It doesn't have to be anything major, but just like it was never his fault. There's always a reason why something, and I'm like, it's okay to say I messed up. I made a mistake. I should have done better. I didn't learn. Instead, all I got was, well, the reason that happened is because they didn't do this. I'm like, well, so you've never messed up?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make me want to admit to, issues either.
It's your accountability,
Right.
you know?
I
But
was looking up the top, like, I don't know if it was 10 or whatever, red flags in relationships. Behaving in a controlling manner, exhibiting jealousy, has no friends. That's one that Todd mentioned in the email. Calling their ex crazy. That's a big one for me. If you're making fun
mhm,
of your ex all the time, you're an idiot because you're the one that was with them.
mhm.
And I don't understand that piece. Spends all their time with you, alcoholism or drug addiction, mismatched relationship goals, the history of infidelity. I guess it is a red flag, but for me, it's like how much infidelity. Like if you went on a business trip 22 years ago and slept with somebody, yes, you were you were wrong, but
Yeah,
it's not a reason to be with you.
yeah.
Um, They give all their time to you, gaslighting, low self esteem, and financial irresponsibility.
Mm,
So we've all seen
yeah,
those in relationships, I think.
yeah. The financial irresponsibility for me, it w- it's about aligning your values,
Hmm.
right? So I'm not a shopper. I don't like shopping. I can't dress myself. It's really hard. So I don't want to be at a mall. I don't want to be. I'll go thrifting. I'll go to antique stores and kind of stuff like that. But I don't like a lot of stuff. So I could not be with someone that had a red flag. Would be like, oh, hard day at work. I had to go to the mall and spent $2,000 on a watch or $100 on a watch. I don't care what the amount is.
Yeah.
It's just like you're looking outside for
Yeah.
things. You're looking for, oh my God, it was a crazy day. I had to have a drink. I'm like, okay, so 12 days in a row. Like I get having a glass of wine or whatever,
Yeah.
but it's like that you can't internalize things. You
Yeah.
can't sit down and process them rather than going outside. And I think that's a human nature thing. We always joke about, oh, I need a drink. Or I'm gonna go shopping. I need retail
Yeah.
therapy.
Right. Right.
It's not a bad thing, but if there's financial irresponsibility, because I've already worked through that. I had that.
Yes.
And I had that in relationships. So I was at
Yeah.
fault there. I've worked through that. And it's like, okay, now that one's on my radar where it wasn't before in my,
Yeah.
I come out at 28 or 29. It was never on that because I was going out and, oh, it's only, we got to go party. It's Monday martini night, and it's only $8
Taco
a
Tuesday.
martini.
It's Wild Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think for me, the big that I look for is either negativity or like pessimism. The inability to see the world as a positive place to live. If your world's so bad that you have to complain about everything or 70% of everything, I can not have you in my life.
Can't.
I want us to be at an airport where the flight's been canceled, and for you not to have an absolute come apart, but instead to respond with, the bar is open. Let's go get a drink there. Or maybe we'll get a hotel here and we'll go out. Yeah. Yes. What are we going to do next?
I've always wanted to be in Charlotte, or I've always wanted to be stuck in Omaha.
Right.
But I mean, that happened for a reason. You're there.
Yes.
The airline computers went down a few weeks ago.
And you can't control it.
No. I'm going to be late for work. I have meetings. I have reports. F it.
Yeah.
Like, no, you were in this place for a reason. You can't control it. Enjoy this environment around it. And we can't control that environment. You can only control your reaction to those things, What
would you say I'm assuming you've exhibited some red flags in your relationship. I know I have.
This just popped in my head. I went on a date, one of my first dates in Nashville. And
was it coffee?
How'd you know? We were having coffee.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, we're Frothy Monkey, 12 South.
That tracks.
And corner booth. And we're sitting there and he's like, don't worry, I'll tell you who the good people are to hang out with here. And I'm like, well, and I wasn't a bitch back to him. And I said, I like to form my own opinions and get to meet people and very social and all that. He's like, but I'll tell you who the queens are and who the druggies are and all this. And I said, well, first of all, I could care less. I'm going to accept people for who they are. And if I like them, I like them. If I don't, I don't. No personal, I'm not going to be mean. It's just, we're not meant to be friends. And he's like, well, I'll show you around. And I said, I don't think you will.
Yeah.
The other part of that date, I was sitting there and I kept looking at this guy on the left. And I'm like, that guy, he kept looking at me. I kept looking at him. I'm like, he looks familiar. It's Chris Allen from American Idol. I'm like, did I know him in Austin? This guy looks really familiar. And it wasn't until I left. I'm like, oh my God, it was Chris Allen. I thought he was checking me out, but it was Chris Allen. And he was probably just looking at me like, why does this guy keep staring at me? So that two things I remember from that date. But it was that control piece that like, I'm like, I don't need you to tell me I'm new to town.
Sure.
You're not going to tell me who to be.
But have you ever exhibited red flags?
Like give it out?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was controlling and had jealousy issues. No one would have dated me. Now, if my boyfriend's like, hey, I want to go out. I'm like, I don't want to go. I want to go out with Philip and Jason. Go.
Yeah.
Go. We're going to mail review at the Nashville. Go.
When is that?
Now I'm fine. Saturday nights. The all mail review.
8:00. I've heard nice things.
But
after about 2 drinks,
I'm so different now. Yeah. Before it was,
thank goodness.
I remember change is
if
great.
We were still the same 20 years ago, Lord, I'd still be bitter and jealous. And
I found out when my boyfriend was out of town. This is my first boyfriend in Austin, and he came back. He's like, hey, I just flew in. I'm like, well, I'm already at home. I was at my apartment. He's like, all right, whatever. Well, the next day we went somewhere, and he's like, so I have to tell you, I went out with the guys last night. I was devastated. I'm like, oh, you were at home at 10:30. So why are you going to a bar and not coming over to see me? You've been gone a week. Like that would, I think, still hurt me.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I had so many control. I was trying to mentally control the situation because I didn't want cheated on. I didn't want to cheat. I didn't want infidelity. I wanted the perfect relationship. I'm trying to get away from that P word. But back then, it was like I was newly out. He was going to be mine forever. And I'm just such a different person now. But that time in my life was it was just a sad time looking back. I had a lot of fun. I met amazing people, and a lot of them are still good friends, minus the ex. But jealousy issues. I'm like, no, what? Because if somebody called me, if I was dating someone, I'm like, oh, I'm going out with Jason and Philip and Greg and all them, and they had jealousy issues, I have no patience anymore. I'm like, gone. Like if we can't work through it once, and then you're okay with it. I don't want questioned every weekend or once a month, whenever I go out. I don't care. How about you? Have you exhibited those out?
I'd say the same. I mean, I would tell people I was not a jealous person, but was internally violently jealous. I mean, it was so stupid. I would literally be thinking as I'm saying it, I'm like, why are you lying to these people? I'd be like, I don't really care what he does. Like, I'm fine, whatever. Like, he loves me. But read into every situation, call him out on why are you talking to this person, or give him the silent treatment because, he talked to somebody. He's like, what's wrong? Nothing.
Yeah, I'm fine.
We'll talk tomorrow. So I definitely have done that. Definitely financial irresponsibility has been, has plagued my life. And I don't know if this is a red flag, maybe it's a yellow one, but like I could dish it out, but couldn't take it. I would.
What do you mean?
In all sorts of things. Like I'd make a little jab at him, a little funny jab, and then he would respond with it, and it would make me mad. He'd be like, why can you call me this, but I can't call you that? So it was immaturity, essentially. So those are definitely a few of my red flags. And then there's yellow flags. I mean, those are the ones. It's like
I've never even talked about yellow flags.
I mean,
I don't even know.
I mean, it's for me, like red flag is the way we do it in healthcare. One red flag is not a reason to stop treatment. Multiple red flags is a reason to be concerned and maybe stop treatment. So I do the same thing in relationship. One red flag, I'm like, can I live with this? Yep, I'm okay with this. I'm aware of it. I may not try to change the person. I just got to be okay with them always having that red flag. And yellow flags are just cautionary. Like I was trying to think of a yellow flag that I'm. For me, a yellow flag might be rudeness to wait staff. I don't think that's a red flag specifically, unless it just is really over the top. But if it's just like a casual, dismissive thing, for me, I'm like, okay, let me talk to this person about it and see if they can change. If they don't change, then it becomes a red flag. So for me, the yellow flags have the potential of being red flags, and then multiple red flags, and I'm out unless they're hot. And then
again,
it can be I could actually date an entire red flag if they're hot.
Yeah,
I probably would
at some point.
Yeah, I mean, a few weeks, get the pictures.
You never know.
For the gram.
So happy.
We love each other.
The wait staff, because my thing with yellow flags, they can be changed.
Yes.
We've all been a little rude to someone at some point. We try not to be, but the wait staff, or if they're too over the top or too braggy, I don't care what you drive. I don't care what you had.
If you ask me what I drive within 2 weeks of knowing me, I'm going to have to go down to the garage and look because I don't remember. Like, that's how much how little black. I care, right? Black. It's an SUV. And they're like, what year is it? I'm like, it was after 1980. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's sometimes those are temporary depending on what the person's going through, kind of where they're at in their life, what season of life. And if they have, you want to get to know them. Why are they being that way? Is it being around different people that can bring a different light out in you, and you can become a totally different person. And we could all think about those people that we are around at work, and you have this Carol lady who's like, oh, got another meeting with her. I can't. And then you go and it's like, oh, I have a meeting with Philip later. Thank God we're going to have a good time. Like their position and their mind is so different in those meetings. So on a day if someone's like, wow, I'm sure you've heard this on dates too. It's like, you seem genuine. You seem really nice. I love community. I love building community. And I'm at a point too. If I went on a first date, it was forever. I was looking at that date as, oh my God, okay, I could see kids. I could see
what the Christmas card's going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. Or we've got to get a Frenchie or a Basset Hound. We got to have that cute. Which house are we going to take it in front of? Like, I just have to go to a house in Belmead so people think it's my house, right? Like all that stuff. It's like going through, but I don't know. Like in a way, it's like it's changed so much for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good. I mean, if you acknowledge the flags that you've got in your life, you got to be like, am I okay with this? I can't be single and complaining about being single at 50 with 30 red flags and a ton of yellow flags and being like, why can't I find anybody? It's an issue with me. It's a me thing. It's not because dating's hard. It's because I haven't put in the work to make myself really available for people.
And it comes down to communicating those flags. Like, I feel uncomfortable when you go out once a month. Okay, no, you should not feel uncomfortable if someone goes out with their friends once a month,
and if you
once every other week. That's the communication there. Oh, well, I go, maybe it's something happened to the club to them at the club, and they're like, oh, well, everybody's doing it at the club, or I got beat up, or
Right.
I got hit on. Okay. Because I think you go to a bar for a couple of, you either want to pick up someone, you want to drink, you want to see your buddies. What's the
What's the
theme
intent
here?
behind it?
Absolutely. So
Yeah, definitely communication. And I think the like trusting, you get a gut, like the red flags that I've overlooked, I remember some of them specifically, like feeling like, I don't like this, but I'm gonna stay. And then you just bury it down, and I would make excuses for it and be like, and people would call me, or not call me, they'd mention it to me, like, and he did that. I'm like, yeah, but he's a sweetheart, really good guy. He loves his mother, loves his mother.
Well, friends and family. So
Mhm.
that would be a yellow flag to me, because if they bring it up, if you or Jason or Stacia would come up to me and say, hey, I know you like this guy, and this has happened, right? This has happened IRL, in real life, as the kids say. And I would look past it like, same thing, dude. This isn't even on my notes. It just popped in my head. Having those concerns from friends and family, and it being like, okay, I'm going to put that kind of in the back of my mind. I'm not going to push it out of my mind. It's going to stay back there and kind of evaluate, because we all know each other so well. Everybody listening, you have those people that know you so well that they see something that you might have the blinders on.
Yes.
And sometimes it's a little thing of, he's Republican, I'm independent. Okay, I can look. As long as we don't argue and we can talk about things, I can look past that. He wants 48 guns in the house. I don't know if I'm going to look past that.
Yeah.
Or if it's like, hey, we're at the bar and he said this to someone, depending on what he said, I may or may not look past that.
Yeah.
So I think having that feedback from friends and family that know you
and
so
look,
well.
if your family is actively not wanting you to date somebody, you have to think to yourself, doesn't my family want me to be in a loving, happy relationship? And if the answer is yes, which for most people, it's yes, your family wants you to be happy. They're not trying to sabotage you. They are trying to get you to be present so that you can acknowledge the fact that there are potential things that, like you mentioned, being blinded to for this relationship. Now, if I want to continue doing that, that's my prerogative, but I can't present it to my friends like my family's trying to. They don't want me to be happy. They don't want me to be, they're against gay people. No, they're probably just worried about the fact that I'm making yet another bad decision.
Philip, can we talk again?
Can we have our yearly talk with you, please?
Yeah.
So anyway, Todd, I know that was a 31-minute
we're
answer.
still on that same one. Damn.
I know, right? Yes, Todd, I think there is an issue there. Communicate with your boyfriend, trust your gut, avoid being emotional, set boundaries, and know when to leave for sure.
I went to a Kenny Rogers tribute show the other night for charity.
You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run.
You got to count your money.
Oh, money.
You're sitting at the table. Oh, don't count your money when you're sitting at the table. There's time enough for counting when the dealing's done.
All right.
Oh, my God.
He was amazing.
Todd, that was for you.
Look,
congrats on your relationship, by the way. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not jealous at all.
Super happy. Send pics.
Yeah, bless your heart. That's awesome, dude.
All right, I have one other one.
Is Todd a bro, or do we know? We don't know.
He's in a gay relationship, so I don't know if he's a bro or not. I wouldn't call him bro.
All right, girl.
Ooh, I like that. All right, I have one more quick one. This goes along with red flags. I have been hearing more and more, and I hear it more from women. I'm not suggesting that men don't have this, but I hear all this stuff about icks. That's an ick. It's an ick for me. I can't do it. It's an ick. So here's a very short email. Hey guys, would love to hear your thoughts. What your thoughts are on icks. I have a friend group that is fun and supportive, but they are obsessed with the icks people have and spend so much time complaining about not having a relationship. I feel like if you have so many icks, then no one will ever live up to your standards. Am I wrong? Jennifer in Louisville.
Oh, Louisville.
So
do we have examples of icks?
Okay, so first of all, the definition based on the very first website that popped up on a Google search was a visceral negative reaction to someone's behavior, personality traits, or mannerisms. It's less about their inherent moral values, if they are an ideal match, but more about the turnoffs that gives you a physical feeling of repulsion. So everybody's got icks. Everybody's got something that you're like, oh,
Sure,
I hate when they do that. Poor hygiene, loud chewers, gym selfies, dirty bedrooms, bucket hats.
Oh God. Speaking of dirty bedrooms, clean your bathroom mirror.
If you are going to post on, let's say, Grindr or Tinder or Farmers Only, if I zoom in and there is toothpaste on your mirror, I'm gonna have to
ick. Oh, let's talk about icks.
So what are your? All right, let's go back. Give me one of your icks.
It's kind of like these kids are saying bet now. Like, do you want to go on a date? Bet. I don't know all the new terms. Yeah, that's okay. Like I get new terms, and the slang we use, our grandparents didn't use. So,
sure.
So we're just now at that grandparent age, right? So to me, it's hygiene and grooming. If I'm at a coffee shop, which I am a lot,
not
dates. Even on dates.
No,
I just I was doing show stuff. The idea I went to, or the other day at the Well Coffee over in Music Row, and this bachelorette party come in. Now it's 9:45 in the morning.
They're ready.
Oh no.
Are they?
They rolled out of bed, hair in a bun, pajama pants. So now you've just rolled around all night after the club. Not mad they went to a club. They're here to have a good time. You present yourself in a professional manner. You don't need to have Gucci on. I had shorts, a t-shirt, shoes. I had showered, and I just can't. When people roll out of bed and go into public, I think it's inappropriate.
That's an
ick. Yeah.
An ick for me, Crocs.
Don't go to Walmart. You'll see everybody there wearing Crocs.
Cannot understand. Now, I'm okay if you are at your house and no one's over. No one's visiting you. You're all alone, and you're like, let me put on these trashy, plastic shoes with holes in them, and that I've added 8-year-old trinkets to jangle around my house. Dazzled. But if you're wearing that out in public, you better have a good reason for it. Mm-hmm. You've clearly chosen super casual day for your look. So Crocs for sure. Socks with Tevas.
Wait, with what's a Teva?
Teva, the sandal. It's just a strappy sandal that used to be so. Yeah.
Oh, that's a Teva. Okay.
Socks with Tevas. I can't. This one's random, but being obsessed with their star sign. They're like, what? Oh, you're a Sagittarius. Are you on the cusp of upward Mercury or downward spiral? Or I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm just like, that's somebody
They know. If you were born at 1:10 in the afternoon compared to 3:28, they will know that your life is off.
At Jason and Greg's party, somebody was like, what are you? I was like, I'm a Sagittarius. They were like, you could never date a Leo. I'm like, okay. And I got mad.
Great.
Inspirational quotes on social media.
Oh, what if they have it in their email line?
I want to send back nude pics. Just like
it's good to know. I'm gonna put some. I
just don't understand why you have to have John 3:16 after your signature. Like, no one's going to the Bible and reading it and being like, wow, she really makes good decisions. No, like I don't care that you're optimistic on your email.
How about, here's some more bad table manners. If people are on their phone when you're at a dinner. That's the entire time. If you need to check a message, check the sitter, text them, check on the dog cam, see if your dog. Fine, we good here. Just had to fire a girl for this. Coming on too strong, too fast.
It's like trying
to the friend group, and I'm like laughing with your. It's like from being an outsider, I like to sit back for a while and just naturally, organically interweave in a networking group, at a wedding, in a friend group, at work. But if you come on too strong and you tell a story and I'm, oh my God, when I was 12, like I don't need to jump in at that point because there's an insecurity or there's something there. Yeah. That's an ick for me. It's like, okay, settle down, because I take that advice. Yeah. If I'm new to your group, I'm just going to sit back and kind of get the dynamic.
Yep.
So that's a couple of them. Or just we talked about this before, but being critical on everything.
It just rubs me. I cannot.
Like, well, this salad it could be a little bit crisper. Well, then cook at home. Like, don't go to Applebee's. Okay.
Yeah,
don't go wherever you want to go.
You're standing at the overlook of the Grand Canyon and you're like, it is so windy up here. I'm like, I need you to recognize the beautiful.
Here's my favorite. I wonder how many people died.
Right. Right.
We were standing at the arch, and I was a kid. I'll never forget it. It was before in St. Louis, you can ride the tram up in it and be at the top. There was a guy, he's like, 3 people died while making this. And I'm like, why did we need to? We're looking at this beautiful art, right? And this the gateway to the somewhere.
I just realized another ick.
What?
I'm going to say it's not girls always, but this one. But I don't see a bunch of dudes doing this. Like the obsession with bringing your water bottle, the 4-gallon water bottle. I saw a girl walking through Target with a gallon bottle. I said, "Are you dehydrated? What is happening in your life that you have such poor water consumption moments earlier that you chose to bring a watering trough to Target so you could slap it up in your Crocs? Like, quit bringing your water bottle."
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with people?
That is
like, we're obsessed with how much water we get. I mean, it's a good thing, but
yeah.
Do you need to drink water during the 10 minutes you're at Target?
You don't need your big ass Yeti or Stanley is what they're calling it now.
That Stanley cup, I want to scream.
Okay, so we got him at work. It does not leave my desk. I do not want to be judged. I do not want to carry that thing anywhere in public. Absolutely not. It's a great gift. It keeps, I do room temperature water, but it's still like, whatever. If you had something cold or hot, it's going to keep it. Which Yeti, like, why is there a new Yeti? That was a Yeti. Like now we're Stanley and people are paying like $90 for these things.
Yeah, fighting at Target over Stanley.
Yeah, I don't. It does not leave my desk because I do not I don't want that judgment of. And also too, I don't want to carry anything that big.
Yeah,
anywhere. Another ick. Ooh, I like this ick thing. I get face stuff. I like Botox. I like all that. A little bit of filler.
A little bit.
Except I'm laughing. You can't even tell. Too big of lips. So I did go out with a guy one time, and I'm fine with lip filler. Totally cool. But for me, I cannot date someone with too big of like lips that aren't natural. It's just like these inner tubes in their lips, and it's just like
inner tubes.
I can't. I
push her off a cruise ship.
I couldn't. This was years ago. A week.
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say I doubt it.
We were at coffee. We made out. No, I don't know. It was just like kissing rubber. It was weird. My Botox in my forehead. So
yeah,
and that's just to even.
I think the big I agree. The big lip thing on a guy, and even some girls, I'm just like, babe, if your lips take up more than 8% of your face, that's all I notice. And
yeah,
how is that going to help you?
You're watching them bounce up and down as they talk, and I'm like, I have no clue what you're saying.
And then I obsess over that, especially with girls, like their lipstick on the big lips. I'm like, well, it's a little off center. On the left side, it's a little less heavy. Come here, babe. Gotta fix that.
No, I like the Real Housewives organization. I only watch a couple of the cities, I guess, and that's all I focus on. I'm like, is this a status thing that you have? $2,000 just to get one injection. Like, I think because it doesn't, I don't know. I think it's this status thing.
Oh, for sure.
Really. It's not about, I need big lips because it was kind of a newer thing. I think
there's a person I follow on TikTok who I think the name of the profile is like Ick List. And it's mostly women who are tagging Ick List on all their icks. Here's a few of their icks.
I could find a man really, really, really hot. The second he sends me an Instagram reel, you're done.
Like if a man breathes too hard around me or something, I'm like, breathe too hard. If you're a grown ass man and you have a phone case, what are you doing? Like you can't even protect your own phone. How are you supposed to protect me?
So if I just meet you, maybe I haven't met you in person, but we're texting, we're DMing. And you send me a photo that I did not ask for, that is such an ick. Like, are you looking for validation? Are you looking for a compliment? No. Such an ick.
Older generation coughs and sneezes in their hands. Like, I feel like our generation knows, like, achoo! Like, use your elbow, like,
That totally gave me the ick.
So
what was that last one?
It totally gave me the ick.
Who did?
I don't know.
Older guy?
Probably.
I didn't know what she said.
He breathes too heavy. Ick. He did this.
God,
ick.
I just had one. Burping is one for me because I can't burp. But oh my God, there was another one. I just lost it. No,
you can fart.
I can't. Yeah, but I can't.
You can expel gas one way.
Jug a pop or a beer and burp. I always wanted to in college when I drank beer because you had all that pressure there, but I couldn't burp it up. So yeah, I guess that would be an icks. I'm not used to it.
And so here's my issue with icks, and I'm not saying other people have icks and I don't. What's wrong?
Oh no, I just remembered something. I said it out loud.
Is that if I keep building up all these icks, then I'm never going to find anybody. I'm going to be alone because my ick, I don't think ick's the right word. It's just like, I don't love Crocs, but it's not a deal breaker. I make a lot of fun about it because it's funny to have a soapbox and stand on. But if my husband's out there wants to wear Crocs to the wedding, no, never mind. He can't wear Crocs to the wedding. But you want to wear Crocs around the house, you want to wear it to Walmart, then I'm not going to Walmart. But yeah, like that's the fear people talk about. Dating so hard, and it's so tough anymore to find love. Well, guess what? It's because you've got 752 rules that we're supposed to fit into.
We've talked about rules about dating and how that can limit you. The icks aren't new. It's just a new term.
Yeah.
Right. We all have that. Well, I would never date a guy that's over 6'7", ick, or whatever it is. My ick that people don't like about me. So an ick about me is sending voice memos. So when I send a voice memo unhinged and you type back, that's an ick. But they also probably think that's an ick about me because they're like, well, I'm not responding to this guy. I'm not going to put my voice out there.
Here's my problem with voice memo is it gives you carte blanche to just keep talking. You're not going to, not you, but like I've gotten voice memos that are 3 minutes long. And I'm like,
that's an
baby,
ick.
The reason we have text messaging is that I have a job and I need to be able to read your text. It just needs to be like, do you want to do dinner? Done. I can answer whenever. But if you send me a 3-minute, hey, hope your day is going good. I was trying to figure out what we want to do for dinner. And I was wondering if delete. I'm not even listening.
No, I agree with that. Mine are short and to the point.
Yeah.
Because I also you get to the end and your phone goes on, like, you have it sitting there listening as you're brushing your teeth and your phone pops off. Like the timer goes out, you have to start that message over again. So I've heard the first part 3 times because I keep forgetting my phone. Like, well, just shut off. And you have to start the message over. I agree. I like the voice memo because I want another personality and their voice. But that is an ick. But I know I'm an ick to a lot of people for many reasons. That's one of them.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of
people are like, Stacia hates it.
Yeah.
I'll send Stacia. I'll be like, Stacia. And I could text her, pickleball at noon? ? Oh, no, I don't. I'm like, I'm gonna play pickleball, but where should we go? This park or this? And I do that, Philip. I need to learn to not
just
do that.
Be concise. You just be like, pickleball, what time?
Yeah. Now that I would text. Yeah. That I would text. Right. But no, icks is a thing.
I wonder what icks I have probably a lot of icks. I was trying to think if I'm being self-aware, probably the asking. I ask questions to make people uncomfortable, and that's probably sometimes it works, but a lot of times it can be a little
certain settings. I think it works.
Yeah, and I realize it when it's coming out of my mouth, and I'm like, this is not going anywhere,
but it still goes.
And I'm like, I got to dig in now.
Stop it, and then it still processes.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably an ick too, where it's like I dig in if it's bothering somebody. I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep going then. Oh, you don't like this question?
Well, I think icks change. Our likes and dislikes is what an ick is. It changes over time. Yes. And as we go through different seasons of life, mine has changed so much, and I'm sure everybody can relate with that.
Well, it's fun to talk about icks. It's it's a fun conversation, but I just hope that people don't use icks as like a bullet point list to find somebody that they can love. Period.
Yeah. God, we could talk about my ick is that this episode's ending. That's
so
look
at that. It's so
ick.
It's an
I'm
ick.
sure I know there was all women on there with that from that.
I literally had a tough time finding a bunch of guys that were talking about icks, but
yeah,
they're doing stupid stuff. I'm sure it's not like
we're just doing a beer bong and not talking about our icks, but we have the icks because I was in an elevator the other day going up to LA Jackson, and these like I'm gonna call them frat guys because they all like pop collars and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I remember being at that age, and this one guy's like, yeah, I like Emily, I like her build, but her voice and all that would be an ick. Like her voice was all nice, cranky, and the guys were laughing. They're like, sorry, dude. I'm like, hey. I've been there, guys. I just masked up for that.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, sorry you're hearing this. I'm like, it's all good.
No worries at all, bro.
Bro, frat you in. And, but yeah, we all have them. But the older I get, I'm like, I just want a good person. And there might be some things that annoy me that years ago I would just jump. I'd be like, nope, done. Bye. Now, now I have a lower tolerance. So if something keeps going for a couple weeks, I call it. I'm like, I'm not going to put up with shit. I'm not going to put up with it. But because I have Icks too. Let's be real.
I've got a ton.
But now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it a little time. I'm in less of a hurry to get married. Yep. I can give this one time. Before I needed to know in 3 weeks. Now I'm like, patience is a virtue.
Now that I've put this out there, watch me end up marrying somebody and our wedding cake is a crock. Like it's a large crock with two
out there. How fun would that be? How funny.
Eat my words.
Let's do it.
Well, thank you, Todd and Jennifer, for those emails that kind of spurred this conversation. And we appreciate you listening. If you got questions or comments, please reach out to us at twobottlesdeep@gmail.com or slide into the old DMs.
And don't forget, when you go into a coffee shop, make sure you're showered.
Comb your hair, take your Crocs off, and put on a regular pair of shoes.
That distracts me from dates, by the way. I haven't had a date in a while, but
I'm
going to tell you what,
easily.
I get distracted. So when a hot guy like walks
you
by
need
the
to
studio,
wear those horse blinders on the date where it's just
that
you
would be smart.
and the
or not go to a busy coffee shop on Music Row.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
Luke Bryan walks in, then I'm just like, I don't even know who I'm on a date with anymore.
Yeah,
I can't.
All right, babe. Well, I hope you have a good week.
You too. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, babe.
God bless America.
God bless.
Why do I say that every time?
I don't know.
Episode of 2 Bottles Deep. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or have a crazy show idea, email us at 2bottlesdeep@gmail.com or hit us up on the old Instagram.
And we really do appreciate you listening to today's show. And when you get the chance, go back and listen to our other episodes, because Lord knows you have nothing better to do. Got him.